action. So culture plays a vital role in shaping identity, fostering social cohesion, preserving heritage, and promoting overall well-being. That is the pillar of everything that we do. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's supposed to change. Yeah, it's supposed to, it's moving. Yeah, so I'm a community builder, and I love bringing people together through different experiences. This image is from one of my events called the World of Words, where I work with different poets and basically doing impromptu performances in public spaces and bringing change. And everything that I do is centered around values. And as you can see on the screen, these are some of the values that guide my work, and essentially being a system that cultivates progress. And I would add love and respect from on top of that list. And change maker, anyone who turns ideas into actions for the good of all. I think I'm always been identifying as a change maker. By a show of hands, who is a change maker here in the room? Beautiful, beautiful, thank you. You're at the right place. Right now we are in Victoria Yards, which is the home of a lot of change makers, especially an organization called Makers Valley Partnership, where we lead a lot of community engagement, supporting a lot of social and creative entrepreneurship. And that's a before and after picture. I've been involved in Victoria Yards since 2018, and I've seen it change. And I was there for the start of Makers Valley Partnership, which is a nonprofit organization that supports and enables creativity, supports change making, entrepreneurship, and a well-being economy, or what we like to call a good life. So yeah, Makers Valley is not just a non-profit organization, but it's also a location, similar to how parts of GP's town are labeled Maboneng. We are labeling parts of this community, Bertrams, Bears Valley, New Doornfontein, as Makers Valley, because there's a lot of makers, and we're driving change. And partnership, 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 partnership. We believe in collaboration to drive change, to do amazing things with people that specialize in what they do, and we support each other to have strength in community, and that's really what makes Makers Valley special. And our concept that we're cultivating is called a well-being economy, where we put people and planet first before profit. Everything that we do is centered around that, and we're really trying to measure success by impact and not by how much money we make. Placemaking is change making because it enforces these pillars: access, sociability, functionality, and comfort in our community. It's everybody's right to, have access to housing, food, and all those things. And some of our community spaces have potential to do that. And basically unlocking potential. That's what we do by educating, cultivating access to sociability, functionality, education, healing. It's what we offer as Makers Valley, and we do that in our public spaces as well by connecting people. So we do different types of initiatives, door to door, to educate people about our public spaces, to tackle social issues, and it's really important to connect. And then, yeah. Functionality in spaces. This is a picture that represents a chessboard. You'll see what we do, but I wanted to just really explain how it's a change making and how it brings people together in these spaces. So engagement with such games does well for one's mindset, to drive comfort, to imagine, design, to really just be together in spaces and yeah, be imagining what our public spaces could be. Yeah. So this is an image of the work that we do. I won't go too much in depth with one of the images, but as you can see, functionality, turning our public spaces into edible gardens to drive change, to make sure that food security is secured, obviously nutrition. We use aggressive methods to do community engagement. So this is one of our campaigns where we're having a cleanup campaign, educating people, and really being on the streets. I think there were over 100 people. It was more like a protest, but a friendly one. So we do door-to-doors, and people come through. They come and join us when we clean their space. We give them a sense of pride in the community. They get to own the street. We have different community street committees, and they take care of the gardens, but we initiate everything. We also have a lot of recreation, sports. I think also there was a food soup kitchen there, so we all shared a meal, came together, Pick It Up joined us. We got a certificate from Pick It Up for acknowledging the work that we do. We had over 38 dumping hotspots, and right now we have less than 11. And that's also a project that is done by some of the change makers in our community. Sia, Sfundo, James Delaney, and Tepo are supporting us. Almost done.
Hi, 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Thank you so much.
Teamwork.
It is so wonderful to hear. I think that what emerged from me was dignity and creativity. Fantastic. 3 minutes, starting now.
Any questions?
Questions, please. Questions? Please, shoot, go ahead.
So what challenges do you have now that you might need help with towards the end of the year? Just
now, going forward?
Yeah.
That's a very, why are you putting me on the spot like that, bro? Well, we need, I think, more resources, more opportunities to actually incentivize the people that are joining us in the work that we do. I think any organization always in need of funds. So we do have projects that pay some of the people, but we'd like to have more. If people want to donate paint, people want to donate seedlings, anything that we could do in our public spaces would be appreciated.
Short question.
Thank you. How do you publicize, how do you do your own publicity, and do the sort of traditional media cover this for you? Thanks.
Yeah, so we have a WhatsApp group for the community. One of our partners, Victoria, always shares the work that we do. On social media, it's Makers Valley Partnership, Makers Valley Jersey. If you search those handles, you will definitely find us on our website. Mail and Guardian has been some of the publications that has featured us. There's been a number of content creators who visit the community and document what we do. Thank you.
Hi, sir. What is your key strategy in terms of community development? Like, how do you?
Key strategy in community development is inclusivity. It's solutions tackled by the people, for the people. We don't expect anybody from another community to come to our community to solve our problems. We just, as Makers Valley, just cultivate, form the partnerships and collaborations to help us achieve what we want to achieve in the community. I stay and grow up in this community, and a lot of the people that are involved are from the community. Yeah.
A quick, how do you, okay.
This area here is also known for, members being from other countries.
Yeah.
And how do you reconcile that in terms of ongoing commitment to your organization and your activities?
Yeah, so the community is 65% foreign nationals. Like I said, everything that we do is very much inclusive. We don't alienate anybody. People are involved. There's different ways to incentivize people, whether they have papers or not. And we always welcome different perspectives, different stories. We have a lot of partners that also accommodate different people. Yeah. Thank you.
A round of applause for Hector and the community. That's such a powerful project. Thank you so much for your initiative, dignity, creativity, impact. We have next up in Pecha Kucha. I'm loving this. It's going to be my new thing. So we now have Ithemba Walkway of Hope, and we wonderful to welcome Kelly Rose Ferris. She's the general manager of Baz-Art to start her Pecha Kucha. Welcome, Kelly.
Let's do this. So I'm here to talk about placemaking as well, and thank you, Hector, for encapsulating it so well. I don't have to recap any of it. So I'm going to go straight into the actual crux of the matter. I'm here to talk about placemaking, transforming spaces, public spaces through art and collaboration. And I want to take you a bit into our methodology. It starts with finding the right places, determining what spaces have the challenges, seeing that they are underserviced, they are dirty, they don't have the right infrastructure, and the biggest thing is safety. So we take that and we meet with the community. We figure out what are their needs, what are their dreams. To determine that, in this case, we did 3 workshops. We did it with locals, with local leadership, with elders and kids, to have a full view and inclusivity. The 3 workshops we did: storytelling, social mapping, and building ideas. The objective here is to get key outcomes that tell us what do they need, having meaningful discussions with them, but also giving the creativity and showcasing other examples across the world to really get the ideas flowing and the inspiration from within, and showcasing that we can think beyond the limits that they're accustomed to in the community. Here we found out that despite giving them the opportunity to think beyond the limits and to dream, it came down to one core thing: safety. And that really is a huge insight for us. We can't start building creativity and expression without feeling safe. We also know that they needed a space to congregate. There's no areas around there that actually give them that opportunity. The alleyway that we took on, Ithemba alleyway, is connecting local kids to a school. The braver ones would go through the alleyway. At best, they would step in trash. At worst, they'd be mugged. The others had to take the long way around. So once we determined that, once we did those workshops, we co-designed the space with the people, with the locals. We put together mood boarding. We did creative work with them. We agreed on what elements we wanted to focus on. And then we implemented with the community. There has to be active community participation for it to be called placemaking. Without them, without including them in the whole process, we cannot create ownership of the space. They joined in, they helped, they cleaned up, they helped paint, they participated in workshops. There was a need for educational murals and educational art, as you can see there. And this is an ongoing process. It gives the opportunity for activation, whether it's cleanups, whether it's social workshops, whether it's educational workshops for adults, for kids. That is all happening there on average on a monthly basis now. The space has lots of activations, such as recently for Future Elect, we organized 6 murals across Gugulethu, culminating in a workshop at Ithemba alleyway to drive people to vote and show and give their voice. The key thing here, and it happens naturally if you do the process properly, tutelage. People in the local community start taking ownership of the place. They're using it, they're maintaining it, they're making it better, and they're constantly letting it evolve. We remain partners of them. We're not coming here to install and leave. We bring projects to them. Future Elect was a project that was commissioned to us that we brought to Ithemba alleyway. So that's the kind of partnerships that you can put together with broader entities. And as you can see, fortunately, we've worked within a community that has shown exceptional involvement from the beginning until the end. We have a great relationship with the local leaders, and you can see that they've organized their own projects. They've added plants They water the plants, they keep things alive, they keep things clean naturally. The results of this was really mind-blowing. You can see here the difference from the first picture I showed you of the alleyway to now a beautiful, safe, colorful, and educational space for kids, for adults, for everyone. Safety. And I'm just going to take one quick moment there just to repeat that. Safety. Placemaking has become synonymous with safe making. If you provide that basis of feeling comfortable in a space, you can grow from there. Then you start dreaming, and then you start building. We've drawn local and foreign visitors there as well on tours, coming to see the space, coming to join in festivities that happen there. The community members, above all, feel this greater sense of ownership and responsibility for the walkway. They really have taken this in stride, and they've gone beyond our expectations. And even by miracle, it's inspired local services, community services, to actually come and do something there now and take care of it as well. This is a broad overview, but I want to show you each and every point here I've spoken to. This is our placemaking cycle. It doesn't begin, it doesn't end. It's a continuous process. And when we go back to community and evolving, we go back to determining local challenges and looking at dreams and needs. And it continues. It's a long-term project. So we've seen that with each step that we take, even the smallest one, starting with cleaning up a space, making it a bit more safe, we're making a world of difference. And yeah, thank you.
It's phenomenal. Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. Am I on mic? Yes. So agency creatives are taking the lead in Africa. I mean, we talk about that in governments, but creatives are taking the lead. Thank you so much. 3 minutes. Questions start now. Go ahead.
Okay. The question is, well done, and how do you make sure that other community members don't use your space for urinating and corner for taking nyawupi and oka pipes, that is drugs?
Sorry. My ADHD just kicked in and I completely blanked out. Please repeat the question.
I'm here.
Where is it?
I'm here.
Over there.
How do you ensure that your space doesn't get used for space for urinating and for taking drugs? You know what, teenagers, they sit there and they take nyawupe and they take oka pipe. How do you make sure that it's safe in that way?
Thank you for that question. It goes back to community involvement. It goes back to taking ownership. It goes back to also partnership and continual maintenance. We haven't seen any of those problems. If it starts happening, community gets involved. They don't want them there. They want positive impact. They want people that come there with dreams and hopes and want to make use of the space. So it is almost self-regulated.
Question here. My question for you, so I'm a dev lady, my name is Naidoo. So I've got experience within the dev community, helping schools and being proactive, especially with empowering them. So my question is accessibility within the dev community. Do you have that with your organization and initiative?
Yes, we actually have worked on several projects. We also work with the blind community. We do street art tours for the blind community, for example, and for the deaf. So that is a part of our projects. And more than that, it's integrated in everything that we do. We ensure that there's accessibility, and we look at what needs to be applied so we can have that accessibility for everyone.
Thank you very much for the lovely presentation. I just have a question regarding ensuring that different voices and different people get to be part of your placemaking projects. How do you make that possible, and how do you also make sure that the placemaking projects themselves reflect that? Thank you.
So thank you for your question. And I am here in lieu of Roshana Naidoo, who's our amazing community facilitator. It is a long-term process. It's building relationships. We had a very long-standing good relationship with Gugulethu. We've been doing workshops in schools there, and we've curated workshops for different specific age groups and really allowing them to express. So with that in place, it's a case of literally knocking on doors, going to find the spaces, what can we do, what are the issues, we found out about the school children that way, and then we build on that and include them.
Well done. Thank you so much, Kelly. Round of applause. And so we go to our last Pecha Kucha, but I wanted to really take a second to say Pecha Kucha started in Japan in 2003 by architects Astrid Klein, Mark Daletham, and it has really taken the world by storm. So it was really important to acknowledge the founders of Pecha Kucha, which is phenomenal. And so our last Pecha Kucha for the afternoon is Maheder. Please, let's give Maheder a round of applause. He's from Ethiopia and is looking at Urban Center for Architecture and Design and is the director of Urban Center there. Over to you, Maheder. Thank you.
All right, my name is Maheder. I'm an architect from Ethiopia, the beacon of independence for Africa and for the colonized. I am privileged to work as an architect because of my education and my connections and my continuous practices, so it gives me different leverages to discuss about different subjects, starting from architecture to urban dialogues and inclusivity and justice. What you see is the map that we posted on our wall inside our space called the Urban Center. I'll tell you about a bit about that. I'm assuming that it will flip after that. All right, I am a middle child, so I walk into the middle of everything. I don't have polarized ideas about things. I prefer to change my ideas based on what I have. So that's my practice. 7 boys, so you can imagine the negotiations, the discussions, and the trade-off that we need to do among ourselves. I'm a son of 2 civil servants. They engraved social service somehow through our system, and all my brothers are supportive of our ideas, my ideas and their ideas, but we negotiate a lot. I believe negotiation and collaboration comes from how we were brought up, and it's giving me that chance. Through that, when I finished, that is on Y2K, when I did my graduation project, I worked on an HIV/AIDS counseling center, which was unheard of at that time. It was a big debate. So to do that, I selected a site not to be marginalized in front of a palace, next to the African Union, and next to a church. So through that, after graduation, I had the privilege of working on high-rise buildings for a multinational or an interior of a multinational or the like. So through that, I gathered connections, funds, and resources that I can funnel into some social work of my interest, which turned out to be from Ethiopia to Africa and Africa to Ethiopia. Coming from Ethiopia, as you can see, Nelson Mandela was holding our passport on the fight against apartheid, and we are uniquely positioned in Addis Ababa due to diplomacy and connectivity to panelists and the like, but my knowledge about Africa was quite limited to that line. So I decided to go to a safe place called the radio, pre-podcast, so I started a radio show called Kebetska Katama. You can compare the 15 years difference. I had more hair then, and I gained a little bit weight, but that discussion gave a platform for the other heroes of Ethiopia. It's not only politicians, engineers, and it's not only politicians, entertainers, and soldiers who are heroes, but also engineers, architects, and placemakers. So to do so, we also gathering information because I was educated through books and theories that came from abroad, but the local context was missing. I was okay with that, but I needed the local context. So to do that, we created this space. So through our practice in 10 years on the radio, it gave us a unique position to talk between professionals, the public, and the state. That was a safe place for everybody, virtually and through the radio. And after that, we created the space called the Urban Center, where we have an eclectic way of art, from art to implement the like. This is one of the pictures that I really like. We started a project called Job Creation Program for the youth, the under 30. I believe there is a youth tsunami in Africa, in Ethiopia, but we need to create the jobs and the linkage because of staying there for long, I was able to make that linkage. And this is what one of the students, now one of the graduates, who put slide into my pocket, pretty much says that, thank you for the opportunity that you guys are giving us. So they are looking into different options in life. So now these guys are working in projects that are getting awards left and right. So that is the thing that we are proud of. This is the space. I believe luck always favors the prepared. This is our space. Because we were prepared, the British Council approached us, and we did a monthly innovation month. 63 people who don't know each other, 13 groups, they worked for a month, and they came up with different products, which are now turned into companies and projects. Now, African history is an oral history. So to do that, to print that, we have to record first. So I had to ask this guy, the guy in the middle, for 14 years to agree with him to take an interview about architecture in 50 years in Addis Ababa. So now we are knowledge-making processes, and we will publish at the end. But also there are African-specific units. How tall is an urbanite in Ethiopia? How tall is a girl? How tall is a guy? An average guy. So we took this into the art scene in Addis Ababa on the street, and we measured 2,500 people just to understand the ergonomics of the Ethiopian urbanite. But also, whoever is coming from abroad, they are experts, but we are local informants. I said, no, I am an expert in my local area, but I need to support it with my data. So we also do data on water coverage, school coverage. Where is underprivileged? What will happen when we overlap these things in? What can come out of that to make an informed decision? When COVID came, since we were prepared, we were able to tell where to put the treatment centers and where to put the isolation centers, and understanding where the hospitals and the other facilities were, because it was not readily available. But at the same time, through our radio program, I think a well-informed society will always make a better decision on who is going to lead them. So we gather data from different points of view. This is data that we analyzed through a travel of ambulances in the city. Most of them are from hospital to hospital. That tells me that the facilities are not well equipped to the important details that are required. There are also assumptions. People come up with numbers, politicians, everybody, we have this and we have that. I said, no, we will do the spatial part. This is the once vibrant Mescal Square, the biggest square in Addis Ababa. So we said, how many people can be put in that area? Without that, you cannot plan your events properly. So through that processes, we ended up also putting a map for where the election polls needs to be, and we added a few polling stations so people will not be marginalized in using their rightful election cards that will determine who is going to bring. So through those processes, when Clubhouse came, I think some of you know it, during COVID, it gave us also leverage to record more of our history through books. We started Ethiopian Book Forum, and now we are on our third year. This is the guy that you see he just turned 100 last week. And through the information that we gather, potentially, we will come up with documents, books, and narrations that will guide the future generation who is working on these projects as we see.
2, 1. Thank you so much. Incredible. We will take questions, 3 minutes. Please kick off now.
All right, so what is your take on gender equality, especially in the business spaces, and also the future of Ethiopia and women leadership?
All right, thank you. I sit on a board on one of the feminist groups in Addis Ababa just to understand the language and just to be mindful about how we talk and how we give opportunities for inclusive space. Our space is very inclusive, both physically and also virtually. So that's how we address it. I think if urbanization is managed very well, both in Ethiopia and in Africa, I think it will solve most of the problems that came through colonization or also dispositions or whatever have you. I think it's a possibility that we need to manage urbanization carefully. If that does not happen, we are going to create tenfold of a problem that we already have.
Okay, so excuse me if I didn't concentrate, but I'm unclear of exactly what it is you do. Please, could you?
Thank you. I am an architect. Most of my time goes to an architectural practice that I run, but the urban center is in a very eclectic space where people come to discuss, to have discourses. We do data insights, we do trainings. Every week we have one event, be it in photography, fashion, architecture, or the earth, what have you. Because the spaces are not there, we make it eclectic. We made it so eclectic that we hosted Game of Thrones final season there.
So,
Question? Oh, there. Go ahead, Hector.
so with regards to you losing your hair, when do you think you're going to grow it back?
Age matters, so I take it as it is. It is an aesthetic decision. I have a little bit left and right, but it's an aesthetic decision. But metaphorically, it gives me, because I'm a middle child, it gives me that leverage. I can act old, but I can act young. That is the leverage that is giving me. That's how I practice it.
I can confirm we never have bad hair days.
Yes.
Does culture ever form part of urban planning? You know, open spaces, stuff like that, public art. Is it part of the thinking of urban design, urban planning, that culture is central to it, rather than just roads and other infrastructure?
Not only that, also heritage, inclusivity. All these things are in our discussions. They are happening every year. On the Urban October, we bring in the policymakers, the academicians, and the regular Tom, Dick, and Harry. We just come and discuss about these things. We are gathering information, we are doing, but the knowledge production will come later on. So that's how I plan it. I just manage what I have with the resources that we have, and we try to reach as much as we can.
Thank you, Maheder. Thank you very much. That's fantastic.